Good afternoon. It's another beautiful Arkansas day. I got a shirt made. Hey, look, Arkansas Survival. Come on. I got fishing on my mind. We're back here at the pond again today, and I want to try to remake this little popper fly here. So you got a little bit of feather on it, little bitty hook. I'm going to try to remake this using nothing but some willow, a turkey feather, and some 550 cord. Let's go. All right, so I got this piece of willow here, all cards on the table. I cut this probably a week ago, a week and a half ago. You can tell I was using it for some cordage here. That's why this bark is already peeled off. But it's still semi-green, uh, so it should be pretty easy to carve, but it's dried out a lot. Like I can tell there's it's a lot lighter than what it should be. And that's what I'm wanting it to do. I want it to be able to float so I can make a popper and, work it back across the top of the water. I left this long and kind of work this so I can get it down the shape I need. So I'm not trying to hold on to something real small while I'm working it. I'm going to try to get it into that general shape of, I lost my popper fly, of this popper fly here. I will probably do more of like a 45 or 35, however the angle, is on this front here. Because I want to see some bubbles and stuff as I'm going to pop it across. I'm going to end up making like a fly rod, like a Tinkara kind of fly rod. I'll find a sapling. I'm going to take this is just 6 foot, a 550 cord here. I'm going to take the guts out of it. I'll end up tying all these guts together. That'll be my fishing line. That'll also be what kind of helps my lure hold together. I'm going to help the feathers and everything stay put. And then we're going to try to see if we can't catch fish, see if the fish are going to cooperate today. Okay, I'm going to try to do this with the camera in my way. So I'm just going to come down, you know, I'm probably going to make mine a little bit bigger than this because I want my hook, since I won't be able to glue it in there all the way, I want my hook to be right up against this edge. We're pretty close to it anyways. So I'm going to just kind of get a measurement here of how long this needs to be. And you can tell like how much the diameter difference is here, but I'm probably going to keep that to make it float better. And eventually, this will get too saturated, probably start sinking on me. I even think about like putting some pine sap on it, kind of seal it maybe a little better to make it float longer. But we'll just see how this initial little test goes here. And I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to start just whittling down on this to kind of get that general shape. Well, it's going to be my front because I'm going to cut some of this off and kind of bore out this center here to give that popper like shape. Looking something like that. So I'm going to cut a notch here in this bottom part. I want to make sure my hook, this is just a little brim hook that I had in my kit. I'm going to make sure my hook lines up so I have some space. I'm just going to put a little crack in here, a little divot for my knife to fit in. And then when I wrap the feathers and stuff on that, that'll keep the hook kind of in place. Like that. Now I'm going to cut off this excess here. The initial cut, this is what we're looking at. I'm going to start cleaning this up. All right, now that I have this general shape, I'm going to do another crease down here on the top. And that'll be where I put my feather, maybe some 550 cord after we fray it out a little bit right here. And I'll do a whip around the whole body to hold everything in place. Okay, so I just cut the tip of my turkey feather off, kind of frayed that out a little bit. That's what I'll put down in that crack to do the whip around. All right, after I got done fraying that out a little bit, I have the circle here. And I'm going to work my turkey feather through the center. Something similar to that. And I'm going to work this all back into the bait. All right, I got that in there. and I'm afraid it's starting to split even more up here. So I'm afraid I'm just going to do a whip on it to hold it all together. I was going to do a whip anyway, but I don't want to push that anymore. But we might be able to make that work. All right, that's what we're looking at. I'm going to take this lighter here and I'm going to burn off this into this whipping. To help it hold it in place. Kind of melt that on top of itself there. I'm just getting the guts here. I'm going to start working this out. Working this all the way down. Since I'm only working with a shorter piece, just keep pushing the outer coating down. Alright, so I worked those guts out, and I'm going to tie 2 of these 6-foot pieces together. I honestly think that'll be a little too long, but if I need to cut it, or I will. How I'm going to fish. The pond is relatively small that I'm fishing in today, but I'm going to join these 2 together by using a fisherman's knot. All right, now I have this rod here. You can tell it's really flimsy. I'm not looking for like a broom handle here. I'm looking for something I can whip out there, and I'm not going to get tired of holding it in one hand or 2 hands for a long time. This rod's probably about 7 foot tall. I'm for sure going to cut some string off. I don't like doing that. I might just tie it up extra, like wrap it around a couple times. But I'm only want like probably 8 foot, because I'll be able to whip this out here, work it back to me. There's a lot of tree limbs and stuff around. If I have 12 foot of string on here, I will for sure get hung up. So let's rig it up, see if we can catch fish. Oh! Well, folks, no fish today, right? The bait held up. I did lose my turkey feather. I did miss a fish. I had him just for a second, then he spit it out. And then I kept fishing. My battery was running low, and I just couldn't get another one to bite. And hey, sometimes fish don't bite, right? It's not always a perfect situation, but the concept worked. The bait worked. The pole worked. Like everything was lining besides the old, catching piece, which is kind of important. Maybe I should have tried a bigger hook. You know what I mean? Something not so narrow. Maybe this was kind of in the way. Something to think about when I'll do this again in the future. But hey, go to the website, subscribe, see the courses that we got coming up, and hey, again, thanks for watching.